Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you love college football as much as I do. Nebraska now. Nebraska did pretty good last year considering where they've been as a program in the last 10 years. They finished 7-6. They won their bowl game against Boston College. Matt Rule's second season. And with Matt Rule, I want to see if the Matt Rule effect continues to take effect. And what that means is he always takes a big jump from his second to third year. He did it at Temple. He did it at Baylor. I think he's going to do it here at Nebraska, but let's see what happens. He did lose his defensive coordinator to Florida State, and he lost a few players, but I think he knows what he's doing at Nebraska. He's been doing an amazing job as a college football coach altogether. He's got this reputation of rebuilding programs. He's done a good thing with Nebraska. Nebraska also lost a few close games last year, and they lost some games where I just don't think they were there yet. Probably still not there yet, but I do think they'll be a good football team. Really good. So let's see. They start their season off at Cincinnati. Then they play Akron, however you pronounce that school's name, and then HCU. 3 easy wins. I don't think they have any problems winning those games. Michigan. I had a hard time picking this game because Michigan will be on the road with a freshman quarterback named Bryce Underwood. And I do think that it's possible he struggles on the road in this game. But by week 4 or week 5, I do think Bryce Underwood will begin to figure himself out better, go through the filling out process, be more comfortable with the offense and the playbook in regular game speed, not just practice. And I think you'll start to see where he starts to shine. And Michigan's offense is perfect for him. He doesn't really have to be an explosive quarterback like some people are thinking. Michigan is primarily a running team. They run the football. So I think he can just manage the game and ease himself into that offense, and Michigan's run game gets going, and the defense for Michigan plays really well. I think Nebraska's going to give them everything they can handle and more in this game. I would not be shocked if Nebraska won the game. But I'm going to go with Michigan. I think Michigan has the better players. I think that they're the better team, in my opinion, right now at this point in their program. I know Sharon Morris is his first year, but he's not rebuilding a program. He's basically adding on and carrying out a program that Jim Harbaugh built while he was there. Whereas Matt Rule, on the other hand, he's having to rebuild a program. And at this point, I think he's further along than where he was at one point, but I don't think it's where he can beat a team that's had a lot of pieces in place that Jim Harbaugh left behind. So I got to go with Michigan now. I wouldn't be surprised if Nebraska won this game. It's very possible. Moving past that, let's talk about Michigan State. That's after a bye week after the Michigan game. Good water. I think, speaking of programs, Michigan State has a second-year head coach who I think is doing a good job. I can forget his name. He's from Oregon State. Nebraska should win this game at home. They'll be 4-1. Excuse me. That's really good. And then they go to Maryland. I would say Maryland could beat Nebraska, but Maryland has not been very good these last few years. They have struggled a lot. I think they should win over there. They come back home to take on Minnesota. Minnesota's been a tough, gritty team for a lot of teams to play. I think that the Nebraska should beat this team though at home, and then they come and they stay home and they play USC and UCLA. USC, I have this penciled as a loss. Now, I don't have a really good logical explanation, but I will say one thing about Lincoln Riley. I've said things that his defenses have never been good. If you want to go look up a guy that cusses a lot and is funny, go look up Uncle Lou. He's been saying some things about like what I've been saying. I've just been more civilized about it. But we've had the same opinion. Lincoln Riley has never been really successful defensively with his teams. But I do know that Nebraska is still kind of in a building mode, whereas USC, this is about to be Lincoln Riley's 4th year. And if you look at last year, USC's defense really didn't play all that bad. They had some good moments. I think Coach Riley was more focused on building size for that defense because when you look at the LSU game, one thing one of the commentators says, and I noticed, was that his team put on a lot of weight heading into this season because they knew they had to be bigger and stronger to play with these Big Ten SEC schools. And it showed to be true. I think they lose that game to USC at home, and then they come back home to play UCLA, and I think they win that one. UCLA played tough with a lot of teams last year, but they lost a lot of games. I don't think they'll really get a whole lot better record-wise, but I think Nebraska should win. This is where I really want to talk. They have to go to Penn State after another bye week because there's Cincinnati games in August, and then they host Iowa at the end of the year. At this point, they've lost twice. They're not beating Iowa because with Matt Rule, whether Matt Rule's been there or not, they've had a hard time beating Iowa, whether it's home or away. I don't care if you go to the moon and play that game. I think Iowa still beats them somehow. That's just the way it is. But the Penn State game I want to talk about. Matt Rule has yet to have a signature win. At this point in the season, it's very possible that Penn State only has one loss or no losses. They could beat Ohio State. They're a very talented team. I wouldn't be surprised. Nebraska's going to come off a bye week. They're going to be real beat up, but after that bye week, they're going to be fresher. They're going to be healthier, and I think they pulled this one off. This will be Matt Rule's signature win over a legit top-tier Big Ten team like Penn State, because it's always been Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. Just Oregon, but they haven't been in the Big Ten that long to really earn that respect to be consistently that good. Penn State has. So I think this will be a big win for Nebraska, for Coach Rule moving forward for his program. Then they finish things off with a loss against Iowa. He hasn't beat Iowa yet. I don't think he's going to either. That puts them at 9-3. That's more than fair in my opinion. They could lose to Penn State, be 8-4, and then on top of that, I could see a scenario where they lose to Michigan State after losing to Michigan, even after a bye, because they might feel bad about themselves, like Miami, for example, or these other big name programs. They lose a big game, and then they continue to lose games. I could see that happening, but I'm going to give Nebraska and Coach Rule the benefit of a doubt. Say that he finishes 9-3. See, I'm writing it down right now. 9-3 on my notes. Not copious notes like Uncle Lou does, but it's still pretty good. Best case, they beat Michigan, and then they beat Iowa. This team right here, this could be a dark horse for the Big Ten here. Going 9-3 is not bad, especially in a third-year coach like Matt Rule with an opportunity to win 10 games if they win a bowl game. I don't think they make the playoffs with 3 losses in their conference, but that's still pretty good. They could finish somewhere in the top 25, top 15. That's not bad. Florida State went 9-3 and then went 10-3 to finish with a bowl win over Oklahoma. They went 9-3 and finished in the top 15, top 20 somewhere, and that's still pretty impressive. So Nebraska could do it too. But the ceiling, 10, 11 wins. The lowest point, maybe 7 wins, 8 wins at worst. That's still pretty good considering it's about to be his third year. So there you have it. I got Nebraska going 9-3.